Hey, good evening. It's Wednesday, June 3rd, Wednesday evening. Really good to have you here tonight. The prophet Isaiah spoke for God to the northern kingdom of Israel. And through Isaiah, the Holy Spirit disclosed himself with great power in a beautiful description in Isaiah chapter 40. Israel was disobedient. They were going their own way. They had a better way than God. They looked for other people, other gods, other ideas to do for them only what God could do. And that brought them to sorrow and weeping. And God discloses himself to them, but they don't hear it. But listen to these words, these powerful words of God speaking to a people that are hurting. Listen to the compassion of God. Isaiah says, "Haven't you heard? Don't you understand? Are you deaf to the words of God? The words he gave before the world began, are you so ignorant? God sits at the circle of the earth. The people below seem like grasshoppers to him. He spreads out the heavens like a curtain, and he makes his tent from them. He judges the great people of the world and brings them all to nothing. They hardly get started, barely taking root, when he blows on them and they wither, and the wind carries them off like chaff. To whom will you compare me? Who is my equal, says the Holy One? Look up to the heavens. Who created the stars? He brings them out like an army, one after another, calling each by its name. Because of his great power and incomparable strength, not a single one is missing." You see, Isaiah is telling the people of God, don't go your own way because your God is this powerful. And Israel was confronted by their own sin, their own failure to trust God, and they thought they're going to trust other ways because God's ways seemed too constricted, too harsh for them. In their time of trouble, they looked in the other direction. You see, we have a time of trouble now. We have the unrest. We have the injustice. We have the hurt. We have the agony. We're confronted with the virus. We're confronted with things that are not trusting God. And we're hurting from that. And yet the voice of God comes pleading to us. We hear his voice like a faithful shepherd calling to us. He is our shepherd. He is our king. He cares for us. This voice of God is beautiful. Let's not be focused on the things around us that point us from God, but rather look to the heavens. Who created the stars? He brings them all out like an army, one after another, calling each by its name. Can you imagine that? Just the Milky Way, and the Milky Way is a tiny speck in terms of all the galaxies that are there. And all those stars God calls out by name. Because of his great power and incomparable strength, not one of them is missing. This is the God who gave his life for you and says, don't look to the chaos in the world. Be comforted by me. Be comforted by my truth. Let's not be like Israel. Let's accept the voice of our shepherd. This night, these words, this God who calls out the heavens and the stars by name is your God. That's your peace. Rest on that this evening. Good night.